In the volatile times that we live in, there are many people who have admitted that they have never spoken to a Muslim or met a Muslim or ever visited a mosque before. Now, with everything that's going on in the world today and how Islam is being portrayed in the media, we feel it's very important that people know or are aware of what's going on in a mosque. I mean, for people who have never come to a mosque before or visited a mosque, they only assume that worshippers come in and out every day at different times. Or actually, we're unaware of what they actually truly think. That is why today we have invited a guest to the Beth al-Futuh Mosque to spend the day with us and see what his thoughts are.
In the next few days, I'll be visiting one of the largest mosques in Western Europe. It's the first time I've actually been to a mosque, and I'm not quite sure what to expect. I've been to churches quite a few times, and I'm really interested in different religions and different people's beliefs. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to expect when I get there. It'll be quite interesting, but I'm really interested into looking at the buildings and seeing what goes on there. And the people have been very helpful and hospitable, and so I'm really looking forward to it. I think that I might find that some of my expectations get challenged, and some of the thoughts that I've had about Muslim and Islam as also might be challenged. But I'm looking forward to it, I really am.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
The main purpose of any mosque is to worship the one God. So it was essential that Bryce experience sitting inside the prayer hall and observe one of the daily prayers being performed by the congregation, the Asr or late afternoon prayer in this case. He then also witnessed the Dars al-Quran being given by an Imam of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, in which portions of the Quran are recited and explained in detail. These are the essentials of any mosque: fulfilling the obligations of worship through daily prescribed prayers and uttering the words of Allah.
I don't know if you went. I used to work for the Church of England doing research and statistics, yeah? And in the centre of the building, they've got the synod, which is where they have the kind of church council. And in the centre of it, it has a dome. And around the edge of it is written kind of biblical kind of text. And as I went in, I immediately thought, oh, wow, this is this dome thing. And then I noticed that there was Arabic writing around it. I mean, just thought it was quite similar. But then the other thing I noticed, well, I'm obviously going to notice is, which I'm intrigued by, there's no statues.
There's nothing, no. There's no imagery, no statues.
There's no pictures, which is because I quite like the statues. I'm quite used to them, but there's nothing like that here at all.
Yeah,
why
because
is
the thing
that?
is, our main purpose of the mosque is to worship and to create a atmosphere of peace. And the Arabic writing that was written on the actual dome was that it surely in worship of God that your heart can get true satisfaction. So when you're worshipping, it's the same reason why men and women are separate as well.
Right.
That your attention should be solely on worshipping.
Right.
We don't want anything that could distract you or that could get your mind off of worshipping.
Right.
Because worshipping is not easy as well, to be honest. So what you just witnessed was just one prayer of 5 that we do in a day.
Right, okay.
And so so when you're standing, there's a certain prayer. When you're kneeling, there's a certain prayer. When you go down, there's a certain prayer that you have to do.
So there's different stage. What are you doing when you're standing?
So that's what I'm saying. There's different prayers that we recite.
Are you reciting prayers internally?
Yeah.
Yes.
There's 2 prayers in the day, the 2 afternoon prayers that they're silent prayers. So
Right.
whatever you're reciting would be in your mind.
Right.
Every other prayer, so the 3 other prayers that we do in congregation, they'll be said out loud.
Oh, okay. So you actually you speak out loud.
Whilst absorbing the unique experience of seeing worshippers bow down to their Creator and obtaining further information on prayer, Bryce was led to the Beth al-Futuh Mosque library. The library houses over 18,000 books. Just over half are religious books, with many written by the founder of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community and his 5 successors. But, as Bryce found out to his surprise, many of the books are not religious at all, and people of all walks of life use this library. So we go in? Let's go in. So this is the library. As we said, a lot of schools do visit, and we do bring them here because we do focus, and education is very important in our religion as well, to educate our youth.
Wow.
So this facility is here for people to come and...
You've really got it together.
Yeah.
You've really...
I think these are sort of the students that have visited, they've just left their thank you notes or some remarks. So this is just a wall of remembrance, you could say. Or
Well,
acknowledgement.
you've really got it together.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is purposeful. Do you know what I mean? I mean, this is better than like a regular school library. Can you study here if you're...
Yeah, that's why the facility of table and chairs and computers are here, so that if you need to come and study, you can do so privately in a quiet kind of atmosphere. So I'll just introduce you to our librarian. This is Mr. Waleed. So
Hiya.
he's in charge of the library.
Hello, it's a pleasure meeting you. I'm Bryce.
Okay, hello, how do you do?
This is
Very
Bryce
well.
is visiting the mosque for the first time.
Okay, all right.
It's the first time he's coming to the mosque. We're just showing him the different facilities. This is Mr. Waleed.
Hi.
He's in charge of the library.
Yes,
It's a beautiful library.
yeah. Well,
So who comes here? Is it people from the mosque and then it's groups of...
it's people from the mosque,
Yeah.
right? So we get a fair number of people coming here, and we get different types of people depending on the time of day. So during the early part of the day, you get the elderly, those people who are retired come
Yes.
here to dip into the newspapers that we have. Maybe 1 or 2 researchers as well. And then during the evening we get students.
Right.
Mainly.
So it's not just studying Islam, it's a place for the community to come and then look at newspapers, and also students to find a quiet place to study as well.
And we've got 18,000 books here.
Wow!
And although half of them, I would say, would deal with religion, but there's another significant number that deals with contemporary subjects and academic subjects. So we've got books on law, we've got books on architecture,
Yeah.
we've got a children's section as well. And so it is well used, well stocked.
Yeah, this is a library
Yeah.
where you can study Islam, but it's a library where anybody can come and make use of. It's here.
We have a lot of school visits, and that's again part of our drive to try and integrate and inform people.
Yeah.
And we literally have thousands of school children visiting
Right.
here every year.
Yeah.
But in addition to that, we also get visits from university students. We've had visits from the University of Chichester, for instance.
Wow.
And we've also had last year, not last year, this year, we had a visit from the University of Kentucky in America.
Wow, that's
So
amazing.
this mosque is quite popular, this library is quite popular in that sense. Right?
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Lisa. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
After a detailed discussion with the librarian, the next stop was the in-house bookshop. This was an experience that we see Bryce particularly enjoyed. The very first book that Bryce saw was the Holy Quran, a book regarded as the most important book in a Muslim's life. The different copies of the Holy Quran in various languages fascinated him. So this is our bookshop.
Oh, yeah.
Mostly you'll find books in here for sale that are written or authors from our community. This is the Quran.
Of course, and it opens that way.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, you can have a look, open it, have a
I
look.
just think I'm just a bit nervous in case I'm like
No,
being,
you have a look,
I'm
feel
being
free.
disrespectful.
No, at all, not at all.
Are these the different chapters?
This is just the, which one is? So this is part-wise. This is you can say part to part, chapter to chapter,
Right.
in terms of how to read it, translation, pronunciation. It's color-coded just to teach. And I think each different book is a different chapter.
And it's in Arabic.
This is
isn't
the
it?
13th part. Yeah, it's Arabic. Arabic and Urdu. And this is the English one. So this is the English version of that.
Oh, that's interesting.
This is part 3. So it will give you the split word translation in Arabic.
Fascinating.
It's a separate, it's done part-wise. So this is part 3.
Okay. Is that the 30 chapters?
Yes, so there are 30 parts, 30 parts to this book.
Right. And there is only one Quran.
There's one Quran, yeah. The reason why you see loads of them here, we've translated them into many different languages over the years. And it could be translation, commentary.
Are there different
No, different languages.
Different
Translation is the same.
Right.
Next, a portrait of the promised Messiah, Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, the founder of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, caught Bryce's eye, which raised many questions about the idea of a spiritual leader and caliphate. Bryce was intrigued to know more.
I'm a bit puzzled by the Messiah, but I had never heard about it.
This is the Messiah that we said. He's the promised Messiah, the person who was prophesied to come by the founder of our religion in the latter days. Yeah.
By Muhammad?
By Muhammad. Muhammad said that a time will come when the state of Islam will be very weak.
Right.
And the teachings will be there, but the people won't be following it in the right manner.
Right.
Then a Messiah would come who would be a prophet, and he would bring back to light the true teachings of Islam.
What's his name?
His name is Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, and he's from India, Qadian, small town called Qadian in India.
Well, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
He's obviously passed away.
He's passed away, and now after his passing, so when a prophet comes, after his passing, a institution of caliphate starts. And so these are pictures of the caliphs that passed so after his demise.
In the same way when the prophet died, caliphate came.
Yes,
so
yes,
these did
yes,
as well.
yes. So he's the first caliph. Yeah. It's complicated but simple at the same time if you get it, once you get it.
Is that
So
a kind of relationship between the spiritual and the earthly?
Of course, yeah.
There's a spiritual prophet and then there's the earthly realisation through the caliphate.
Yeah, to help the thing is, religion's for all of mankind. It's people of all different level of intellect.
Right.
So it's you can say in that sense it's broken down so that everyone can understand it. Another item available to purchase at the bookshop were caps, traditionally worn by Muslim men.
Wow.
So this
is a Persian cap.
Yeah, yeah. So this is very much tight-fitted. You see this a lot in Makkah.
This is like in Morocco and Northern Africa, basically.
Even in Saudi Arabia.
Is it as mark of respect?
Yeah, mark of respect and a sign of responsibility, and also that it was the practice of the Prophet to cover his head when he was praying. So this is the Indonesian one that I was talking about.
Oh, okay. Is this your one that you've got?
The one I've got, yeah. And this is one that you find in Pakistan.
That's Pakistan.
It's Jinnah, Muhammad Ali Jinnah. I don't know if you know him. He's famous for wearing these hats. There's a picture of him somewhere, I think.
Can I put it on?
Of course you can. Does that fit you? You can
No, I think my head is far too big, as you've noticed.
What size is that? Get one that fits you.
This might be better.
Give us a spin.
You can't tell me. Look,
it's great. I love the fact that there's all sorts of different...
You can take one if you want, or you can take one along. As something to remember us by.
That's very sweet.
Front on backwards, and then put it on back, yeah. It doesn't need to go all the way to the back though.
I'm trying to be like, kind of like the Pope.
So no, it doesn't need to go to the back. So you just
It just
put
goes
it
on the front.
From the front there.
Ah, yeah, I'm loving it.
You see it? Just take it off for a minute. Take it off.
You're going to show me the right way to put it on, aren't you?
No, it's just an easier way. So if you just spread it a bit with your fingers, and then put it at the front of your head there, and just pull it back. Yeah. There you go.
If I can't get it right, I'll practice at home.
No, that's fine. There you go.
We're like twins now.
Of course. All right, so you can take whichever colour you want.
I'm going to take this one.
The black one?
Yeah.
No problem.
Thank you very much.
No
Thank you. It's very kind of you.
Bryce explored the entire Bet al-Futur complex, which comprises not just the actual mosque itself, but many other facilities, such as a kitchen and a dining area, where thousands of meals are prepared on a weekly basis. Meals are served free of charge 3 times a day for all guests and workers at the Bet al-Futur Mosque. After seeing all the delicious food being prepared for guests and workers, his next stop was the large community hall in the complex, the Tahir Hall, which is used regularly for community functions and sporting activities. Bryce naturally had many questions about Islam and the mosque, so we arranged a meeting with the Imam of the Bet al-Futur Mosque, Mr. Naseem Bajwa. Bryce wanted to know if being an Imam was a great responsibility. This is Imam Naseem Bajwa. He is serving as the current Imam of the Bethel Mosque.
It's a pleasure to meet you, thank you.
Thank you.
It's the first time I've ever been to a mosque, and I was it's just intriguing and it's fascinating as well. I thought it was really peaceful when I was in there. How long have you been the Imam here?
I came here in 2009,
2009.
so about 8 years.
Okay, it's so many people. I can't believe there are so many people that kind of come and make use of the place. How does it feel? Is it a great responsibility?
You see, of course, it is a responsibility, whether people are more or less. The main thing is that we have to perform our duty as Imam.
Yes.
And this is the largest mosque in the Western Europe.
Yes.
Every week, 5,000 people come here for Friday prayer.
Right.
This mosque, because it's the largest mosque and in a way it's a headquarter of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community. So the supreme head of the Ahmadiyya community, Hazrat Mirza Masroor Ahmad Sahib, who is called Khalifatul Masih, the fifth, he comes here every Friday and he himself leads in the prayer.
Bryce's visit to the mosque coincided with the final days of Ramadan, so he was keen to find out more about the month of fasting.
You see, the first thing is that this law about the fasting is not only in Islam, it's in all religion in one way or the other. There is Lent in Christianity, there is Yom Kippur in Judaism, but here in Islam, main thing which we are taught is that you should reduce your material food, physical food, and increase your spiritual food. That means you should turn to God Almighty, spend more time in prayer and worship, and also you should realize the difficulties and the pain and the miseries of the poor and neglected people in the world. So this is why it is said that in the month of Ramadan, you should not only just abstain from food and drink yourself, but also you should spend more and more for the poor and needy people. So this is why, in fact, the month of Ramadan is a great blessing for all the poor people of the world.
Right, because of the people of people exercising charity.
That's right.
I mean, I'm just astonished. I'm astonished, it's really interesting listening to the particular way that you're kind of looking at and look at things. And also, I'm just, as I said to one of your colleagues, whenever I go to a different building, there's this kind of sense of extended community that comes from, obviously the mosque itself, but it seems to pervade every building, like the bookshop, there's like the sports hall, it's really palpable, you can kind of feel it, and I have to say there's a sense of peacefulness here.
Yes.
That's why I was quite surprised when I went into into the mosque itself. It's just how peaceful it was.
Yes. Yes, you see, the other day, one Englishman came here and he said that I just want to spend a few minutes or few hours if possible in the mosque, because I have felt here so much peace that I have never felt that peace anywhere else.
And even in the prayer it was peaceful. It was like just gentle, we would gently move into this.
Yes, no music, you see.
No, there's no
nothing.
music.
All your attention is towards your Creator, your God. And the words, if you read the words of the prayer, you will be even more fascinated, because everything which is said there, it is focused towards God, your Creator. And you pray not only for yourself, in fact you pray for the whole world.
How do you feel about awful things done in the time of Ramadan? We've seen, it's wars everywhere. It's irrespective of it being seemed to be driven by a particular reason. Everywhere there's war, but particularly in kind of Muslim countries in the time of Ramadan, when there's war going on and acts of atrocities. And how's that? Do you reconcile that somehow with? Is the sects? Do you think of that in terms of this? That's what other sects will do to Tamim?
You see, that's a very important thing to know, that as far as we Ahmadi Muslims are concerned, by the grace of Allah, not a single Ahmadi is involved in these kind of violent acts in any part of the world. But outside the Ahmadiyya community, of course, we know that these things are going on, and this is why we feel that there is a need of this community.
Of course.
You see?
Of course.
So if these people join the Ahmadiyya community, then they will also become peaceful.
Yes.
So it means that it's our duty that we should try to reach everyone and bring them to the fold of this community so that they all become peaceful. And as you know that our motto is love for all, hatred for none. You see?
Yes.
So
It's
if all the
beautiful.
people accept this motto, you
Yes.
can understand that how there can be anything violent and extremism as we see nowadays. Now, I would like to give you a copy of the Holy Quran.
I love books.
The-
I really.
So
That's
I hope you'll.
I'm really genuinely
shall I open?
delighted
Shall I
and
go?
treasure it.
Shall I
I
show
really
you?
will.
Let me show you. Yes, this is the Arabic side.
Yes.
It's English translation, and this is the commentary, and it's all in English. You know.
I'm really chuffed.
Right.
I love the phrases in the name of Allah, the Compassionate, and Merciful, and I love
every
poetry.
verse, every chapter starts with this small verse in the
beautiful.
name of Allah, most gracious, ever merciful.
Oh, I'm really humble. Thank you very much
so
indeed.
pleased.
Thank you, and the fact you're giving to me makes it even more special. Thank you very much indeed. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you.
It's been a real
Thank you.
pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's a real treasure. This. Thank you very much indeed.
अच्छा
Thank
जी
you very
सलाम
much. Really
अलैकुम,
appreciate
सलाम
it.
अलैकुम।
Okay. Now you've got a hat and a book.
That's fantastic. It's so cool. That's brilliant. Thank you very much.
There might be some other things in there.
There
There's a
are.
couple of books that he's put in there for you as well.
Thank you very much. It's very kind of you.
After a long day exploring the site and different sections of the mosque, Bryce was treated to a surprise visit to the headquarters of MTA International, going behind the scenes of a live program being aired on MTA. MTA was established in 1992, which broadcasts across the world on 10 satellites to reach its millions of viewers. MTA is the global hub for the Ahmadiyya Muslim community worldwide. There was a live call that was being taken from a diet and nutrition.
Oh, really?
So she was just saying how whilst we're fasting for like 18 hours, how to maintain
Oh,
the weight that we lose and everything, our physical benefits of whilst fasting. So yeah, what we were saying, everyone in there and most people in here, they're all volunteers. And they serve they give their time.
I'm
Kinda
just
serve the community.
amazed. I'm just amazed how much there is here. I don't think I've ever seen anything like it before. I mean, I'm quite a naive person. I'm not, so I'm not, but I'm just amazed at how much there is here. I mean, there's like a full-blown studio in there.
After this, we're going
Broadcasting to millions of people, 24/7.
Bryce's visit to the mosque had come to an end. We asked him for his unbiased opinion about his first visit to Western Europe's largest mosque.
I've really enjoyed my visit to the mosque. It's confounded all my expectations, but I think most of all I've been really impressed by the massive sense of community that extends from the mosque itself to every one of the buildings, and the people have been really kind and generous in showing me around. And it's confounded my expectations of what I'm seeing in the media and what I'm seeing in television, and what I'm seeing is a group of benevolent, kind and generous individuals who naturally wish to integrate to propagate their values. And I think it's going to take me quite a while. I'm going to have to really digest this and think a lot. I'm quite philosophical about my thinking. I'm going to have to really digest this, but I think it's upset all of my values in a really good way. I think it's excellent. It's been a really worthwhile experience, and I think that anybody who comes here why would they not embrace these values and sense of tolerance and generosity? It's been really amazing, and also I'm genuinely impressed that this building, it's like a thriving community, not only here, but as it kind of goes around the world in the kind of media and everything. I think it's amazing. It's great. Who wouldn't want this? It's great. It's fantastic.